Good afternoon and welcome to Scrapbooking with a Twist. We are going to make a layout today that is actually a challenge. DesireesTale challenged this on Scrap with Your Stash, and I need to use my stash, so I am going to work with her challenge. This is, I hope you can see that, this is the sketch. She's going to do a sketch challenge, and our challenge was to use die cuts in throughout our layout. So I am going to do that today. The only thing that isn't going to be a die cut on all of this is my fishing pole. That was a sticker, and these two little flowers that I'm going to use were little Stickabilities dimensional flower things. Everything else is pretty much a die cut. So let me get some of this stuff off of here and let's get rolling on this. I think I kind of have it laid out in my mind. I kind of laid it out a minute ago how I'm going to do it. So let's just get going with it. Hope you're having a good day. My sister texted me a while ago and said that we're supposed to get severe weather, so hopefully we'll avoid anything bad. Let's see where I need these. Hers was hearts. The sketch was hearts across there. I'm actually not going to put my title down there. I'm going to put my title across here on my little fishing line. These are two pictures. I didn't even show you the pictures. These are two little cute pictures of my son and his two little boys at the deer lease fishing, and they caught a pretty nice fish. This is the one the little one caught, and then this is the one that the bigger boy caught. Pretty nice fish for the deer lease, some of the little lakes at the deer lease. So that's what we're going to scrap today. I didn't get all of the inking done, so I'm going to do that really quick, and then I'm going to get those letters down. My ink pad here is just about to get dried up. While I'm doing this I don't have much inking, and I don't have a very long little devotional today either, but while I'm doing this, I will do the devotional really quick. It's from Romans chapter 2, 23 and 24. And it says, "You who boast in the law, do you dishonor God by breaking the law? As it is written, God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you." When I was reading that, I was thinking, if we're going to talk the talk, we've got to walk the walk. So if we say we're Christians and we say that we claim to live the way we're supposed to, then we need to work really hard at doing that. Because if we don't, then we're telling other people this is the way Christians should act. I'm a Christian, and so this is the way I'm acting. So if we're going to claim to be Christians, we need to walk the walk that God expects us to walk. It's better to not claim to be a Christian than to claim to be one and not act the way that we're supposed to. It actually turns people off to being a follower of Jesus or in serving God. And so I just think as Christians, we need to be really careful when we proclaim that, and we got to walk the walk if we're going to talk the talk. Getting this inked up really good all the way around the edges. It's just white core, and I don't want that to show. Doesn't take much. My little grandson the youngest one, is staying with me right now during the days because he had eye surgery, and so he's on homebound. His homebound teacher came today. And of course, the better they get to know you, the more they'll push. So it was she stays 2 hours at a time. And it's like 15 minutes before his 2 hours are up. And he's like, "Can we take a break?" He was ready for a break. And she said, "Well, we only have 15 more minutes. We can either power through it or you can have a little short break." He said, "No, we'll just power through it." So I thought that was a good decision. I'm going to put that little picture there like that. Okay, let's get our title glued down very quickly. I'm just calling this Fishtails, since my little oldest grandson here is really pointing at that fish. He wants you to know in this picture that he was the one that caught that fish. That was good. Drop that. He didn't want anybody to doubt that he was the one that caught that fish. They have a really fun deer lease, and has some good tanks on it for the fish, and they really enjoy going up there and catch some decent fish sometimes. In this picture, I've got to get I think it was 2020. It was, because it was like during the pandemic when they just did an outing to get out and went to the deer lease. Okay, I've just about got the title glued down. I just want those little letters dangling from that fishing line. I need to spread those out a little better. It's too close. Some of them too close and some of them too far. Let's back these up just a little. And then I want to get those fish down. That'll have the top of it finished. This is just a die set. Of course, the challenge was to use your dies. And this is just a die set from Sizzix. So I just put the fishing pole down. That's my across the page element. And then these are die cuts, so I followed the die cuts. The fish are die cuts that I had left over. Actually, my sister-in-law had them left over from a previous project. And I had just stuck them in my drawer and thought, those will work here. And I had to use my inks to ink them up to make them look more like their fish, because they were just these little light green, solid light green. And then I'll show you what they came off of, because they were in with like a school of fish. But I think that's how I want that. And then let's get this other picture going so that we can get our pictures. That's where I was trying out a pen I thought I was going to use. And this is iced spruce from my Distress Inks. I hope you can't hear my dog in the background. She's out in the yard and she thinks she wants in, and so she's just moaning and groaning. I put her out before the homebound teacher came, and oh my goodness, you thought she had been exiled. She would be over here bumping my arm if she was in here. These are just papers from my stash. They're not from collections. I'm trying to use my stash, trying to get a bunch of stuff used up. I want some new stuff, but I'm determined to use old stuff and get it used up. There's nothing wrong with it. That's about to disintegrate. There's nothing wrong with it, and I just need to use it up before I get a bunch of new stuff. I want some collections. This is most of my, I do have some collections, but so much of my papers are things that people have given me, that I've inherited from people who, no longer scrap, or that I've had for years, that I've, just bought years ago before I even knew what collections were. And so anyway, I've got to get some of this used. So I've put myself on a spending freeze until the Scrapbook convention in Arlington in June, where my sister-in-law will come, and we go to that every year. So I definitely am on a freeze until then, and trying to just use some of this older stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. It isn't, some of it isn't my favorite, you know, look, but there's just nothing wrong with it. I'm on a couple of Facebook scrapbook groups like Scrap Your Stash and Scrap Addicts, and everybody was talking about that this week. Do you buy, you know, a lot? Are you on a spending freeze? You'd be surprised how many people are actually on a spending freeze. Now, of course, I buy my adhesives and, you know, the things that you have to keep scrapping, but I'm going to try to get that a little bit straight there. And then add this other one to it. But for the most part, I just am going to not purchase papers unless it's a specific piece of paper I need. Like if I need a specific piece for a card or something, I'll buy a specific piece of paper. But I'm not going to just go buy a bunch of paper just to put in my stash. I'm not going to buy any collections or anything like that for a while. I'm going to freeze, just like I said I was. See this little, it was like about this wide and had all these fish in it with all these bubbles. So I cut those two out and inked them to look more like the bass, and then I inked these and cut them loose from the rest of it. There's still some left. And then I've already done my journaling for this one. So this was April of 2020, where he and the boys went to the deer lease and went fishing. So there's that. This will kind of get this side done. I think I'm going to put a few little dabs. I usually put a little bit of liquid glue, even though I use a tape runner. I've never had any trouble with this tape runner. What is it called? AdTech. I've used it forever, and I've really never had any trouble with it, but a friend on one of the groups said, I see you use AdTech, and I've had some scrapbooks come apart using that. Well, I never have, and I mean, I've got scrapbooks 20 years old, but anyway, I've been real careful to add some liquid glue to that recently, just in case, because I do not want my scrapbooks coming apart. This liquid glue, I love the Nouveau Deluxe, but goodness gracious, this little bottle of Nouveau Deluxe is now $14 on Amazon. So if anybody ever sees this on sale, please let me know. I love Nouveau Deluxe, but it has just gotten out of hand, and I don't know what happened to my lid. I think I bumped it while ago. Oh, there it is. So I definitely do not want that drying up. So, but I love it. It dries matte, and you can just do anything with it. But it has just gotten ridiculously expensive. I think when I first started using it, it was like maybe $5 for that, and now it's 14 something, like right at $15. I'm gonna kind of put that on there slanted and not keep it all straight. Sometimes I just don't like that straight look, like a little bit of a... Okay, so we've got our pictures on there, we've got our journaling, we have our title, and then I'm going to build this little cluster that I want to go right down here. I'm putting a subtitle down here with this. This is just something from, what is that? Camp Happy Bear, maybe? It's one of those. Simple Stories, I think. This was just one of the things on their cut-apart sheet. And I thought, even though they're not fly fishing, I still thought it was cute. So I want to build this cluster, and then I'm going to do just a couple more little clusters. I want to bring out the orange in their shirts and give this just a little bit of color. But I want to build this cluster first. I'm going to, these are some trees that I already had cut out. This came out of my drawer of just leftovers. All of these fish came out of the drawer of leftovers. This is all just scrap paper except for the background page, and it's old in my stash. This was scrap paper. These were already cut out. I cut out a bunch for a previous layout and didn't use them all, and so they're from that previous layout that I'm just using. And I've got some more things from my, what I call my cutout drawer. When I cut too many things and I don't use them all, I just throw them in a drawer that says cutouts, and then I dig through that ever so often and pull things out to use, and that's what I did with this today. I just want to stagger these trees on here to come up above this circle. I know they blend in a lot with this circle, but I'm going to put something behind them, and I think that I'm okay with that. With them being almost exactly the same color as the background of that circle, I'm okay with that. I just don't want them all the same height. I want some difference in height and even difference in how close they are together. I think I want this one over here. This one has a little bit of shading on it, so kind of wanted it in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to put that right down here, and I have this moon or setting sun, moon, whatever, cut out to kind of go with their shirts, just to bring in a little bit of color that I'm just going to stick in right in behind there. So I think I want this somewhere about like that. And then I also had, this was also in my cutout drawer, and I'm going to just stick it at the very bottom, but I want to put this across here first before I do that. I think I'm going to let that come off one side. So let's get this down. Just something like that. I think I want less of that. Ooh, don't go down too hard. I want less of that moon showing than that. Don't want quite that much. There we go. I don't know. Maybe like that. Yeah, I think I like it more like that. So there's that. I'll come back and put a little something under that. And then we need our subtitle here. You know, I think I wasn't going to put anything up on foam tape, but I think I will put that on foam tape just to give it a little boost. I've been trying to keep my layouts much flatter. Just has gotten to where they take up so much room in the notebooks, and I don't have room in my notebooks, but I do want this up just a little bit. Oh, I was going to tell you a funny story about this youngest little grandson, the one that's staying with me right now, that had the eye surgery. And keep him in your prayers. He had eye surgery on his left eye last week, and then next week he has surgery on the right eye. And he's doing great, but it was scary, scary there for a little while. He came out of from under the anesthesia with severe emergent delirium. I mean, he was crazy and flopping around. It was all my son could do to hold him down. I mean, it was bad. It was scary bad for him and my daughter-in-law. And I mean, it took several, they had to put him back under, and then it took several days for him to get back to normal. He was belligerent, and that's not him. He's very, very sweet. It's just not like him to be that way. But anyway, he's been here at my house. They're both teachers, work in the school system, both teachers. And so he's been at my house since the surgeries. And so he was playing his video game the other day. I wrote it down because I knew I would forget it. And he says, "These are my arch enemies," talking about some of the characters on his video game. Arch enemies. And I went, okay. I think somewhere in there were arch enemies and nemesis. They're my nemesis, but they're my arch enemies. I thought, that sounds like a Yogi Berra word that he would come up with or something. Made me laugh. He's so funny. Okay, I think I have everything the way I'm going to leave it. This isn't going to be like over embellished, but I want to spread some orange around on this page. So let's see if I can get in under here. I have some little things cutouts that were in my cutout drawer that I think I want to use, and I've scraped some of them off in the floor, so I'm going to have to get down and look for them. I had them over here on this side where I keep things and raked them off. So I have to kind of go on an Easter egg hunt down here to find them. There we go. So I want to, I just want to bring this orange around the page. I've got it here, so I need it a couple of other places. So I'm just going to tuck these. Like I said, these were just in my cutout drawer of leftover cutouts. So I'm going to just build these little, these are punches. So I've used die cut, die cut, die cut, die cut, die cut, die cut. Those are all die cuts. And then these little things are punches, which were allowed. That was part of the rule. You could use die cuts or punches also. So just kind of make some little clusters here. And then I'm going to use those little flowers just to kind of, I think I need to just start gluing those down as I put them on there. Just kind of. So I think, and I'll be perfectly honest, I've never done a challenge before. And so when this one came across the other day, it appealed to me because I needed to use my stash. And I use a lot of die cuts in my layouts. And I thought, I think I can do that. I think I can do that one. I don't know what the next one will be. I think it comes out today. Today's like the last day to finish it up. But anyway, I'm going to try to do this challenge. Okay, there's that. These are just some little stickers from, they're dimensional, but from Stickabilities. That's why I went ahead and thought I may as well do that since I've already got this other going. And I did feel like I should pull that orange across the page. So if you would like to do the challenge, just look on, I think it's Scrap Your Stash, I think is the Facebook group that it's on. or look up Desiree's Tales and see if you are interested in doing the challenge. I'm going to try to also get a card video done this afternoon. I haven't done one in this week, so I'm going to try to get a card video done also. So here is the challenge sketch, and there is my layout, and there's somebody coming to my door, so I'm very quickly just going to show you this a little bit, and then I am going to turn the video off before my doorbell rings. See you later. Thanks for being with me, and God bless.